everyone, it is Beth with Flying by the Seed of my plants, and just going over a couple things that I'm doing today. I saved my eggshells probably starting in January, and so right now I went ahead and put them in this pan, and I'm going to put them in the oven. The oven is set at 170 right now, 175, and I'm just going to put them in there so they dry out. And then once they dry out, I'm going to go ahead and use my bullet blender and powder this up. The eggs, they have the calcium in there, so I like adding that to the peppers and the tomatoes when I plant. And it just helps prevent that blossom end rot, just with the added calcium. And, you know, you can crush these up before, you know, right when you're planting, and that's what I used to do, but if you powder them up, they just decompose a little bit faster. So that's what I started doing, I think last year or the year before, just to speed that process up. So just kind of separating them a little. I got the oven preheating, and they go in the oven until they're dry on a very low temperature, because I'm not cooking them, I'm just drying them out. So anyhow, I think that's good. So I'm going to say about an hour, but basically it's until the eggs are dry. Just to get all that yuck out of them. So anyhow, I'm going to put these in the oven, so I wanted to share that with you. You know, if you don't eat eggs or whatever, you can use the tomato tone, which has the calcium in that, or you can go ahead and powder this up. Now this here is not going to make a lot of powder, so I'm going to continue saving the eggs, because in my garden I do plant typically about between 40 and 50 tomato plants. And mainly the larger tomatoes and peppers you can add this powder to. The cherry tomatoes, I never worry about blossom end rot. They don't get it because they're so tiny. I've never had an issue with cherry tomatoes. So anyhow, I'm going to pop these in the oven. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and start planting my bunching onions. These seeds I got from my gardener. And these are the Toiko Long White. And I also got some Hashiko bunching onions. And I do plant these a little bit different. I have these pots that are larger, and because these won't be transplanted into the garden until like June, probably, depending on our weather here in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. So, I fill these with the regular potting soil. I use it from MI Gardener, that's a gardening center near me. And I usually plant a section of probably like 8 bunching onions into one area. So, because bunching onions, to me, they're a little different in the way that you plant them. Those are the long green onions that you find in the grocery store, and they come in bunches, and that's basically how you plant them as well. So, anyhow, I have some in here. Put some of this in here, this one. So this one is the Tokyo long white onion. So right now I probably have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 little bunches here of this seed. And of course, as always, I want to mark what is in there so I don't forget. And I'm gonna let Abby in, hang on. So I got my little tags there, and I'm gonna take a little bit of soil, top them off. They're very, very little seeds, so you don't need to top with a lot of soil. Press them down a little. So that is the Tokyo. This is the Hashiko bunching onion. And on here, I gotta find my glasses. I don't have my contacts in, hang on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these seeds in. Move the camera back just a little so you can see how I'm doing this. And on here it says 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost, and transplant after the last frost. Days to germinate 4 to 10 days, days to maturity 110. And when planting in your garden, you will plant a bunch together, but 4 to 6 inches apart from the other bunch. And again, just doing a bunch of 6 to 8, maybe more seeds in a bunch. Doing the same over here. Right in the middle. Okay, so this one is, I need to get more tags, is the Hashiko bunching onion. And I gotta find another marker. Okay, and here's a bunch of tags from last year that I saved, and I just bleach, and it takes whatever was on there before the writing off. And, all right, so this is the Hashiko. Bunching onion. My larger onions this year, I am ordering from Dixondale Farm. And I like, Dixondale is awesome. You know, you could start your regular onions by seed, which I have done. And the reason why starting from seed or ordering from Dixondale, it's because it's their first year for the onions. I don't know if you've ever tried the onion sets that you could buy in the greenhouses, but they will not get as large as, because that's their second year. So you want to, the first year will get the full size onions. And there's fertilizing and different things like that that you should do to help your onions. Abby, just hang on, okay? Go buy your basket. Your shoes in your basket. Go on, get your basket. So anyhow, the first year onion will get much larger than the second year onions, and that's what you find in the gardening center in this little mesh bags or whatever. And I did plant those, and you don't get very big onions. So, all right, now I did put a little bit of soil on top, not a lot, because they're very tiny seeds, and I'm going to moisten the top of these, put them on the grow light, under the grow light, and you should see some onions in 4 to 10 days. And let me go, and I'm just going to pre-moisten these and put them under the grow light. I do have another video planting bunching onions. Abby, that's enough. That's enough. And other onions. Okay, so I do have another video starting other onions and bunching onions. So if you want to, go back and search that, because this is just a quick thing of how I do it. But it's really easy. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and moisten the top of these. And in the beginning, before they germinate, I have a misting water mister. So I'll just keep misting the top of these until they germinate and then start doing the regular watering. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be planting is petunias. Now these I'm doing a little bit different. These I'm starting for my stepdad. He went to Park Seed, where I do buy my petunias from too, the seeds. That or Johnny's or, Park Seed. I've had great germination rate. So these, this one here it only comes with 10 seeds. And these are called the Easy Wave White. He absolutely loves petunias, and they're absolutely gorgeous. He does such a wonderful job with them. But he went ahead and he also bought these peat pot starter things, which I normally don't use. I usually use the plastic. I just don't like these because, they can get moldy. Anyhow, but he already had these filled, so I'm using it. And so anyhow, let's open this first one. And I'm going to mark what these are. These are the Easy Wave White. I don't know how much he paid for these. Hopefully not too much for 10 seeds. And these are also pelleted seeds. So they did come with instructions for the petunias that you do not put soil on top of them. And again, these are pelleted, so they come in a little container like this. And the seeds are in there. And it looks like there is 10 seeds in there. So anyhow, carefully remove that. Very, very tiny, tiny seeds. So, and in the instructions, it says, do not cover with soil or they will not germinate. So I'm just going to lay these on top. Oh, there's 2 seeds in there. Kind of just scooping it up with my fingernail. Now, I'm not covering them, but I am going to press down because you do want it to make contact with the soil. And I pre-moistened all of this. Just took it over my sink and wet everything down. And he also bought seed starting mix, so that's what I'm using as well, because he did already buy those, so that's what I'm using. So I have 2 rows of that, 1 in each pocket. So I'm going to Easy Wave White. Okay, so that's that seed packet. Now we're going to do Tidal Wave Red Velour. Oh, this one's like a little pill capsule. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and separate that. And drop 1 seed in each one. And I am starting these for my stepdad, and sometimes that always makes me a little bit more nervous because I'm doing this for somebody and I really want all of these to turn out and germinate. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just mist the top. And definitely keep an eye on these until they, well, I mean the whole time, but before they germinate, I want to make sure these seeds do not dry out. So a lot of times, and actually I am going to do that, I have vermiculite that I'm going to go ahead and spread a little. You know, I'm not going to bury it, just to help keep it moist. Because that's another thing with these peat pots. They dry out really fast, and I don't know, I just don't like these. And also, they absorb a lot of the water, the peat pots. So another reason why I don't like it is it pulls moisture away from the root. And so you really, another good reason why these are not a good pot to start your seeds in, or put any seeds in for that matter, or plants. I mean, you could water it, but these suck up all the water. Anyhow, so very lightly I did put some vermiculite on there. Mainly to help keep some moisture by the seed. Alright, so these are the ones that my stepdad purchased, and he got another packet of the Cascade, plus I bought some Cascade petunias too. But I'm going to do them differently, so let me put these under the grow light and I'll show you how I start the other ones. Okay, so the way I start these, I just put them in these tins. Let me get a tray. Well, actually, I don't need a tray because I'm not poking holes in the bottom. And this is how I'm going to start the seeds. This is how I've done it in the past, and it works pretty well for me. Oop. I'm just using a regular old potting mix. And this is, again, from Maria Gardens. They do sift through this to get any large sticks and stuff out of there. And I think they do a great job at that. So I'm going to spread this out. And press down just to get some of the air out of there. Okay, so I'm going to take this over the sink and pre-moisten the soil. Okay, so this is the double cascade petunia, and I'm doing it different. Pre-moisten the soil. And in this little packet are 35 seeds. And they are extremely tiny. Trying to get every bit out of here. I'll go back through that. But anyhow, these I'm just going to do it a little different. I'm just going to spread them. They're all the same seeds, so I'm not concerned about, mixing them. And I also did buy some of these for myself. These are a beautiful petunia. They're really frilly. And this is a mix of color. Okay. And here's the other packet. He did buy a packet, which I already put some actually in that other thing that he gave me, so the pea pots. And the other ones I'm putting in here. And again, these are not pelleted, so they're very, very, very tiny. So I'm just going to spread them. And once they get their true leaves, when they're really tiny, that's when I up-pot them into individual pots. Okay, so there's that. And again, I'm going to do the vermiculite. It just helps, so that the seeds don't dry out. And I'm not putting too much on there. This just holds it more moisture. There's no holes in the really quick. Okay, so I put the vermiculite on there and I pre-moistened it. This is going under the grow light. I'm going to put a tag in here, double cascade petunias. And that's all the seeds are in here. And I will, once they start getting their true leaves, that's when I'm going to start putting them in their own individual pots. But for now, this is just to have them germinate. And this is how I do it, and it's worked for me. And I have one more here, and this is for my snapdragons. So, let me go ahead and put this under the grow light. Okay, so now I'm starting on my snapdragons. So this one I got from Park Seed. It is, it's a double shot orange bicolor. So I already made a tag for it. So I'm going to put these over here. They say there are 50 seeds in here. And I'm doing it the same way I just did the petunias. I am spreading them here. And when they're tiny, they get their first or second set of true leaves, that's when I'm going to up-pot them into their own personal container, which they will go into something like this when I up-pot them. So right now, I'm just using a foil tin. There's no holes on the bottom. Put the soil in here. I pre-moistened them. And the reason why there's no holes in the bottom, I am not going to be watering like I would normally, where I bottom water. Right now, I just want to keep the seeds moist and until they germinate. And here it says it could take up to 30 days to germinate, which I have a feeling that they're going to do it a lot sooner than that. But anyhow, so these are the double shot orange bicolor. And these are very, very tiny seeds. I gotta get these. These do require light to germinate, so I'm not going to put soil on top of these either. Let me put those in there. I'm trying to open up this packet. I said there's about 50 seeds in here. Trying to get all these seeds out. And I'm just going to spread them on this side of the tin. Seed over here. Okay, so on the opposite side, I'm going to, and these were from Park Seed, and so these ones I bought from Eden Brother, Madam Butterfly Mix. I absolutely love the Madam Butterfly. This is a mix of color. And again, I'm not going to cover these. They require light for germination. So start indoors. Doesn't say how long before germination on their package, but it's going to be anywhere similar to this one, which they do put on there 7 to 30 days to germinate. Mine usually don't take 30 days, so hopefully these won't. This is a Madam Butterfly Mix from Eden Brothers. And sometimes snapdragons will come back on their own. This year, Northeast Ohio, we've had a really, really cold winter, so I don't know if the ones that were out there are going to reseed. Sometimes they do. But anyhow, I'm going to make sure that I do plant some so I have them for next year, or for this year. Okay, so they had it in a foil packet. The seeds are down there on the bottom. And they are saying, how many seeds did I get in here? Let's see if it was written up here. They're not saying how many seeds were in here. There's probably about 50 seeds in there. Okay, so the eggs are done. They were probably in there maybe 45 minutes. So right now I am just putting them in the bullet, is what I use. And also, if you do that, these will discolor. You know, it doesn't hurt them. But if you want to designate one container when you for your powdering your eggs, so you don't discolor a bunch of them. Okay, so put that on here. Okay, and I powder it up so it's really fine. And then I have, whew, you can smell that egg. Anyhow, I'm going to put it in the mason jar. And just continue to do that. Keep saving my eggs, drying them out. adding it to my tomatoes and peppers when I plant. Calcium is really important for to keep that blossom end rot away. The other thing you could save are banana peels, because I do have that. Linda in the group reminded me of that. I totally forgot about banana peels. That I put in the hole, and I put them in little baggies and I freeze the banana peels. Or if, you know, if I don't eat the bananas before they start getting bad, I put the whole banana in a freezer bag in the freezer. And of course you can use it for cooking too. But anyhow, I like to add the banana, not the banana peel for cooking, just the banana itself. But anyhow, I like to add the banana peel, and so I freeze it. When it comes time to planting, you know, I unfreeze them, or I let them thaw out, and then add, I don't know, cut them up in little pieces and add so much to each hole when I plant. And then this will be set on the side. And I got like that much powder. So I got quite a ways to go to fill this up. But just to powder them up, it just decomposes a lot faster than putting the whole egg. But I have done it both ways. Okay, so that's just about it. So, you know, I went over how I plant my snapdragons, my petunias, and I do up-pot them. I do have videos of starting petunias and snapdragons from last year, and also when I up-pot them. So if you want to go back and reference that, go right ahead. And anyhow, so here is the chopped up eggs. So the other thing really quick, I go to craft shows. I'm a vendor in creating crafts. Here's one of them. Of course, I got to show you guys. But, and I still have to seal those up, but I think they're just gorgeous. And just wanted to share that really quick, a couple of them. Easter's right around the corner, so doing spring. I thought this guy was really cute. And so, anyhow, getting back to gardening. Okay, so I missed the window in Northeast Ohio for planting my garlic. So when I went to the one vendor show, the guy next to me, he was selling different meats, lots of great vendors. Right now in the beginning of the year, I go to Richardson Farm, and it's in a greenhouse, so it's right up my alley. But anyhow, so I was next to the one vendor, and he used to live in Florida. And he told me, you know, we started talking about gardening and stuff, and he told me that he would go ahead and throw the garlic bulbs in the freezer and then plant them in the spring as soon as the soil was workable, you know, whatever, I don't know exactly when it was in Florida. So right now I did find some garlic bulbs, and they're in the freezer right now. So because I did not get them planted in, typically we do that in October in Northeast Ohio, I will be planting garlic in the spring. So if you still want to plant garlic, I've never tried this before. This is my first time doing this based, you know, he was in Florida, so I guess that's what they have to do, because garlic does have to go through that cold stratification. So anyhow, they're in the freezer, and I will be planting that as soon as the soil is workable, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works out, because you have a second chance to plant garlic. So anyhow, that's about it. I have to get back into my crafting. Actually today, February 15th, it's going up to like 50 degrees. Yesterday was about 50 degrees. I think it's going up to 50. And I want to get Abby out there for a walk and also work on crafts because I do have a vendor. There's a vendor show next weekend. So I got a lot of stuff I got to get done. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for joining me. And please, if you like it, like the content, go ahead and like it, please. And also, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I guess that's about it. So I will talk to you on the next one. All right. Hopefully that was all helpful. All right. Bye.